Do you know how glass is made?
No idea.
Do you know how glass is made?
No idea.
Sodium carbonate is used to manufacture glass.
Sodium carbonate?
Sodium carbonate is obtained by heating sodium hydrogen carbonate and is called anhydrous sodium carbonate or soda ash. The anhydrous sodium carbonate is dissolved in water and recrystallized to sodium carbonate decahydrate.
How is this sodium carbonate useful to us?
Sodium carbonate is used to manufacture cleansing agents, soap, glass, paper, etc. It is also used for removing the permanent hardness of water. It is used to remove the dissolved salts in the water and make the water clean for drinking. It is even used to manufacture sodium compounds like borax, which is used as a cleansing agent.
I love to play with water, but I feel my skin develops some itching sensation when I play in seawater. I wonder why it doesn't happen when I swim in a pool.
The microscopic organisms or small germs present in seawater irritate the skin, whereas the water in a pool is treated with bleaching agents like bleaching powder that kills insects and germs.
Bleaching powder?
Bleaching powder is chemically called as calcium oxychloride, which is obtained by passing chlorine gas through calcium hydroxide.
Great! What else is bleaching powder used for?
It is used to bleach cotton and linen textiles, and to bleach wood pulp, and even used in the manufacture of paper. Bleaching powder is used to disinfect drinking water and make the drinking water clean and safe. What does your mother do when the kitchen drain is blocked?
She uses a drain cleaner to clean the clog.
Did you know? The drain cleaner contains sodium hydroxide, which cleans the clog formed in the drain. When the pipe is clogged, it is because of a combination of fats and grease. Cleaners that contain sodium hydroxide, either as a solid or already dissolved in water, converts the fats to soap, which dissolve in water. In addition, when sodium hydroxide dissolves in water, a great deal of heat is given off. This heat helps to melt the clog.
How can we obtain sodium hydroxide?
Sodium hydroxide is produced by the electrolysis of aqueous solution of sodium chloride called brine. The electrolysis of brine is called the chlor-alkali process, since the products formed are chlorine and an alkali. In the process of electrolysis of brine, hydrogen is collected at the cathode and chlorine at the anode. The hydrogen formed in this process is used to manufacture fuels, margarine, and ammonia for fertilizers. Chlorine is used for water treatment in swimming pools to manufacture chlorofluorocarbons, PVC, chemical compounds like chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, disinfectants, and pesticides.
What are the other uses of sodium hydroxide?
It is used to manufacture soaps and detergents. Sodium hydroxide is also used to manufacture paper, artificial fibers like rayon, and dyes.
Wow! Why is the sand shining?
Did you observe that it is crystalline? Similar to sand grains, salts also have a crystalline structure. Moreover, some salts have a fixed number of water molecules as an essential part of their crystal. These water molecules which form the part of the crystal are called water of crystallization, and such salts are called hydrated salts. For example, in your laboratory, the blue-colored copper sulfate is copper sulfate pentahydrate. When heated, this salt loses its water molecules and its blue color. Let us perform a simple experiment to verify the presence of water molecules in copper sulfate. Take some powdered copper sulfate in a test tube. Hold the test tube with a pair of tongs and heat it using a Bunsen burner. Observe that the blue-colored copper sulfate turns white. When this powder is moistened with water, the blue color reappears.
Do all salts have water molecules in their crystals?
Not all. Only some salts have water molecules in their crystals. For example, sodium carbonate decahydrate, Na2CO3 10H2O. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate, FeSO4 7H2O. Zinc sulfate heptahydrate, ZnSO4 7H2O. Magnesium sulfate heptahydrate, or Epsom salt, MgSO4 7H2O. Potash alum is the sulfate of potassium and aluminium with 24 water molecules, K2SO4 Al2 SO43 24H2O.
Poor boy! He's hurt himself. Poor boy! He's hurt himself. And his arm is in a cast.
Do you know what that cast is made of?
No.
It is made of plaster of Paris. Gypsum, when heated to 100 degrees centigrade, forms plaster of Paris, which is chemically called calcium sulfate hemihydrate, CaSO4 half H2O. This calcium sulfate hemihydrate, CaSO4 half H2O, sets and becomes a hard mass when mixed with water. Some of the uses of plaster of Paris are: for setting fractures, since it hardens when mixed with water and sets in a short time; as a fire and waterproofing material; as a sealing agent in the laboratory for sealing air gaps in apparatus where airtight arrangement is required; for making casts for statues, toys and decorative articles; for smoothing wall surfaces.
Did you know that bleaching powder is actually a salt which is used as a disinfectant and germicide? Salts are ionic compounds that result from the neutralization of an acid and a base. Salts consist of both positive ions or cations and negative ions or anions. The cations are basic radicals obtained from metallic ions, while the anions are acidic radicals obtained from acids. Some examples of salts are sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, potassium aluminium sulfate, and ammonium chloride. Let's learn about some general properties of salts. The first defining property of salts is water of crystallization. It refers to the number of water molecules chemically combined in a definite molecular proportion with the salt in the crystalline state. Salts that contain a definite number of water molecules as water of crystallization are called hydrated salts. For example, gypsum and washing soda. Conversely, salts that do not contain water of crystallization are called anhydrous salts. For example, anhydrous copper sulfate. Another property of salts is deliquescence. It is the ability of some salts to absorb moisture from the atmosphere, dissolve and change it into a liquid. For example, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, zinc chloride, and potassium carbonate. There are also some salts that are hygroscopic. In other words, They have the ability to absorb moisture from the atmosphere without getting dissolved. For example, calcium oxide or burnt lime. Another general property of salts is efflorescence. It refers to the loss of water of crystallization, partially or completely from a hydrated salt when exposed to atmosphere. For example, copper sulfate pentahydrate or blue stone and magnesium sulfate heptahydrate or Epsom salt. Let's now learn about physical and chemical properties of some specific salts such as sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, potassium aluminium sulfate, and ammonium chloride. Sodium carbonate, also known as washing soda or soda ash, is the sodium salt of carbonic acid. It is found in natural deposits in UP, Bihar, and Rajasthan. In crystalline state, sodium carbonate possesses 10 molecules of water of crystallization. Sodium carbonate is prepared by passing carbon dioxide gas in a concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide. Thus, crystals of sodium carbonate are obtained by evaporating the solution of sodium carbonate. Moving to the physical properties of sodium carbonate, it is a white crystalline solid whose common form is decahydrate. When exposed to air, its crystals lose water, turn into a monohydrate form, and appear as a white opaque powder. Let's now learn about the chemical properties of sodium carbonate. It gives out a golden yellow flame when it is heated on a Bunsen burner. On heating, sodium carbonate decahydrate acquires anhydrous form. It dissolves in water by giving out heat. Moreover, the solution of sodium carbonate is alkaline in nature. It also gets decomposed by acids and releases carbon dioxide. On the other hand, when carbon dioxide is passed in aqueous solution of sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate is obtained. Sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate is also commonly known as baking soda. It is prepared when carbon dioxide is passed in a concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide or sodium carbonate. Sodium bicarbonate appears as a white odorless crystalline solid. It is completely soluble in water and slightly soluble in ethanol. Let's learn about its chemical properties. When heated, sodium bicarbonate loses carbon dioxide and water and forms sodium carbonate. On reacting with acids, it forms salt and water and releases carbon dioxide. Moreover, its aqueous solution is alkaline due to formation of sodium hydroxide. Let's now learn about potassium aluminium sulfate, commonly known as alum. Crystals of alum are prepared by mixing concentrated solutions of potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate. Potassium aluminium sulfate is a colorless, odorless, and crystalline substance. It is soluble in water and its aqueous solution is acidic. The chemical properties of potassium aluminium sulfate are as follows. It melts at 92 degrees Celsius. Moreover, at 200 degrees Celsius, it swells up as the water of crystallization is eliminated. Another salt is calcium chlorohypochlorite, also known as bleaching powder. It is prepared when chlorine reacts with dry slaked lime at 40 degrees Celsius. It is a pale yellow powder with a strong smell of chlorine. It is soluble in water. The chemical properties of calcium chlorohypochlorite are as follows. When it reacts with dilute acids or carbon dioxide, chlorine is released. Similarly, chlorine gas is also released when bleaching powder is dissolved in water and heated. Let's now learn more about sal ammoniac or ammonium chloride, also known as Naushadar salt. It is obtained by passing ammonia in hydrochloric acid. It is a white crystalline solid soluble in water. Moreover, it is odorless, brittle, has a salty taste and gives cooling effect on tongue. The chemical properties of ammonium chloride are as follows. On a high temperature, it gets decomposed into ammonia and hydrochloric acid gas. On cooling, these gases combine to form ammonium chloride. When ammonium chloride reacts with an alkali, such as sodium hydroxide, ammonia gas is released. Ammonium chloride reacts with sulfuric acid to give out hydrogen chloride gas. Moreover, ammonium chloride also reacts with slaked lime to produce ammonia. Salts are very essential chemicals in a laboratory as they are used in several reactions and processes. They are also widely used across different industries.